Hey everybody, welcome to the Baked Book. So today I'm finally doing the video that, yeah, you do. This is like a life pro tip. If you are interested in books in any way, then you should just watch, and you don't want to like commit to watching BookTube all the time, just watch people's best videos. Just watch their best of 2017 videos. I'm literally this whole month, my TBR has been like, I've just been watching best of videos, and I've just been like catching up on those videos to see what people have been watching, and it's been great. So I have this kind of sectioned off into fiction, nonfiction, graphic novels, and poetry. So let's start off with fiction. This is like in no particular order, and I'm not like numbering these because like I tried to do like numbers, but like I don't want to. It by Stephen King. This knocked my socks off. I absolutely love this. Like, it's 1,200 pages and I really loved it. I listened on audio. I was just so impressed. I was just like so happy at this moment to be a reader and to like want to actually like dive into this, and I just love the world. It's just genius. Like the whole concept of it and the execution and the character development. Oh my god, the character development is just absolutely incredible. And I don't know, I'm gonna read Stephen King more this year. If you have any other Stephen King recommendations, please let me know, because I love this and I can just totally see myself being like a Stephen King person. I feel like I'm like one of those booktubers, like those teenage girls who are like, oh my god, books! But like, we're just like super obnoxious and just like yelling at you, but I'm just really excited about these books right now. Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty. This one, I just whipped it. I whipped right through this book. I like read this in like a day or something. I like couldn't put it down. I loved it. I loved the ending, and I love the characters too. They're just so bitchy. There's like an HBO series that is crap. I do not recommend that. But I absolutely loved this book, and I totally recommend it. I've read another book by her, and I wasn't as super like fanatical about it. But this one's a beaut. Love it. The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. Here's a good recommendation. Follow Angie Thomas on Twitter. She is great. I love the things that she tweets and retweets, and like I talk about her Twitter with like some of my friends just because it's great. I love it. This is it's like a Black Lives Matter fiction book. It's been on like the New York Times bestseller for I think like a year. It was like #1 until that John Green book came out and fucked it all up. But this one is a lot better than Turtles All the Way Down, if you ask me. I really liked it. I really liked how honest it was. It really didn't try to sugarcoat a lot. The characters were really good, and they weren't trying to, you know, like represent something like super goody two shoes. Like her dad was like an ex-gang member, you know, and like they had like gang relations going on. So like we get to see a side of things that like society tells us, especially white people, like, oh, gangs are bad, like, be careful. But like there's another totally different type of sect where that's just like, gangs are normal, gangs are survival, like this is how other people live, you know. And it was super eye-opening. Protest scenes that I am all about, and I really love this one. A Million Junes by Emily Henry. This is like a Romeo and Juliet retelling. This is has like a lot of magical realism in it, and I totally loved it. I was so excited. I was just enchanted this whole book, and the love, I just love forbidden love so much. Oh my god, they're not supposed to see each other, but they're seeing each other anyway. Oh, I'm so excited. Is my autofocus on? My autofocus is not doing good. I really like this. It's like in like rural Michigan, and it's just super atmospheric. I just loved getting lost in this book. It was gorgeous. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So Evelyn Hugo is like a Hollywood lady in the golden age of Hollywood, and she is just willing to sacrifice a lot for her career, and she does a lot of like PR stunts, and she has 7 husbands and a secret lover, and it's just, you know, you want her to do something, but she does the other thing, and she just breaks your heart, and she just keeps on breaking your heart, and there's so much juice in this book. I absolutely loved it. Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. This book was a fucking trip. I absolutely loved it. I loved how psychological I was. I loved how, oh my gosh, like kind of, what's the word? Metaphysical. It was very, very metaphysical. And I guess she's like originally kind of like a fantasy writer, and I could totally see that reading this book because it's just kind of like all over the place doing weird things, and it was just really cool. I loved the ending. I would have never guessed the ending. Like, I could totally see how people would read the ending and be like, that is too much, but I am the too much girl right here. I love it when it's too much and people are like daring enough to try it, and like, why not? Like, it's fiction. Let's fucking push some boundaries here and see how weird we can get. On to nonfiction. Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson. Do not read this in public. This will fuck up your life. I was crying so much during this book. It was beautiful, but it was also very, very eye-opening, very sad, very kind of like hopeless at times. Yeah, this is about a lawyer who starts a foundation in Georgia or Alabama, I think, but he works to exonerate prisoners on death row. Death row is a very divisive thing, but give this a read, and yeah, it's gorgeous. This is like probably like one of my favorite nonfictions ever. And then this is the first audiobook I ever listened to, Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. This was excellent. I loved it. This is such a treat on audio because he does all of the voices, and they're his voices and his grandmother's voices, and he speaks like 5 languages, and he speaks all of those languages too. And you just really, he's such an interesting background, an interesting life. He's just such a interesting person too. He is something else. He is funny, and this book is sad at the same time, and like truly amazing. And I really liked this book a lot. Is a lot of biographies or autobiographies you read, they talk about celebrities. They kind of talk about the climb and how they got there and when they were famous. He literally does not mention it. Like, he's just like, yeah, and then I moved to US and I started working there. You know, it went from like him being like a DJ for different parties and different like suburbs. Yeah, I think he's from Cape Town. Somewhere in South Africa though. And then he's just like living in America. So he doesn't really like talk about his rise to fame, if you will, because he doesn't need to, because it's not interesting. Like, him being famous, it seems like it's like the least interesting part of his life, because he grew up during the apartheid, being mixed, which was a crime, hence Born a Crime. And like, his whole life is just insane. Like, it just doesn't, I can't, it's just, ugh, it's so good. Best graphic novels, we have My Favorite Thing is Monsters. This one is so beautiful. The illustrations in here are just killer, and it's part of a series, which I'm super stoked about. I think it's gonna come out in April. I'm not really sure, but this is following a girl who is like following a murder mystery, and so we get some backstory of the person who was murdered, and we also hear like a lot of like kind of like family secrets. There's a lot of like family drama going in here too. But this is like a super experimental graphic novel, which I really liked, and there's a lot of details. It's not like a quick read. You really have to like sit with it, and it's something like you could reread over and over again and not be bored, because you're like, oh, I didn't notice that the first time, and there's just a lot going on, and it's really cool. Okay, and then 100 Nights of Hero. It follows 2 women, and it just has like a really nice connection between like the stars and just like the power of storytelling, and I just absolutely loved it. It was really emotional to me, and 100% recommend it. And then Boundless by Julian Tamaki. I just read this one. It's actually short stories, and I really usually do not go for short stories, but I really went for this one because the short stories, they were less of a story and more of a concept that you could really kind of like build on in your own imagination. Like, they built these worlds, and then you could really kind of like fill in the blanks and just kind of like question their line of thinking. With poetry, it's just 2 books by Danae Smith, Insert Boy and Don't Call Us Dead. These are both so intense, so important. This one is like you're reading a diary, and this one is just like a bunch of letters to different people who have died, like America and relatives and people he knew, and black men in the news who got shot by police. It is absolutely incredible, and I really recommend them. So those were my favorite books of 2017. This is like the video to watch, friends and family, so don't ask me for any book recommendations, just watch this one. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll leave my links below to like Goodreads and Instagram and Twitter, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!